The film begins with a battered Hutch sitting in a stark interrogation room. He lights a cigarette, exuding an air of quiet defiance, and nonchalantly feeds the stray cat in his arms. The detectives demand to know who he is, and with a calm, enigmatic tone, he simply replies, "I'm nobody." Flashing back a few days, we see Hutch trapped in a monotonous routine. His life is a series of repetitive tasks: morning exercises, a dull commute, a dead-end job, and a constant race to catch the garbage truck, which he always misses. He's married to Becca, a real estate agent, and together they have 2 children, Blake and Sammy. But the spark between Hutch and Becca has long faded, and even Blake regards his father with indifference. One night, as Hutch checks on his children, Blake silently gestures downstairs, alerting him to a break-in. Hutch quietly descends the stairs to find a couple, Luis and Lupita, rifling through their home. When Lupita spots Hutch, she points a gun at him. He remains eerily calm, instructing them to take the cash from the kitchen. The robbers demand his watch and wedding ring, but he only surrenders the watch. As they attempt to flee, Blake courageously tackles Luis, only for Lupita to threaten them with her gun. Hutch, on the verge of striking her with a golf club, hesitates and instead tells Blake to let Luis go. Luis rewards this mercy with a punch to Blake's face before escaping with Lupita. The police arrive later, and Hutch is left feeling ashamed, his own son and a responding officer criticizing him for his inaction. At work, Hutch's boss and father-in-law, Eddie, discusses the incident with him, while Becca's brother, Charlie, hands Hutch a gun for protection. Hutch later communicates with his brother Harry over a secret radio channel. Harry, who is in hiding, tells Hutch that he recognized Lupita's gun as unloaded, a detail only someone with Hutch's past would notice. Hutch visits his retired FBI agent father, David, who senses something is off with his son. Despite trying to carry on, Hutch is haunted by his inaction during the robbery, especially when Sammy mentions her missing kitty cat bracelet. Convinced the robbers took it, Hutch sets off to retrieve it, starting with a visit to David's house to grab his old FBI badge and gun. His resolve hardens when he visits several tattoo parlors, searching for information on Lupita's tattoo. When a group of tough-looking men at one parlor try to intimidate Hutch, one of them notices a tattoo on Hutch's wrist that marks him as a dangerous man. The tough guy immediately backs off, leaving Hutch to get the information he needs. Hutch tracks down Luis and Lupita and breaks into their apartment, demanding the bracelet. After pistol-whipping Luis, he realizes the couple are struggling parents with a sick baby. They don't have the bracelet, and Hutch, seething with frustration, leaves, punching a brick wall in the pouring rain. Later, on a bus ride home, Hutch's pent-up rage finds a release when a group of drunk thugs begins harassing a young woman. He calmly asks the bus driver to step off, then unleashes a brutal fight on the thugs, taking several hits himself. They stab him, but Hutch fights back relentlessly, even performing an impromptu tracheotomy on one of them to save his life after crushing his windpipe. Bloodied and battered, Hutch returns home to find Becca awake, silently acknowledging the violent man she once knew. As she stitches his wounds, Hutch confesses that their emotional distance has been eating away at him. Meanwhile, at a nightclub, the ruthless mobster Yulian Kuznetsov makes his entrance with a flamboyant dance, only to reveal his lethal nature by brutally killing a fellow mobster who disrespects him. Yulian is soon informed that his younger brother, Teddy, has been left with permanent brain damage from the bus fight. Enraged, Yulian vows to find and destroy the man responsible. As Hutch's life spirals further into chaos, he learns from Harry that Yulian is not to be taken lightly. Hutch visits a shadowy figure known as the Barber to gather intel on Yulian. The Barber provides a file detailing Yulian's violent reputation and the vast fortune he guards, known as the Obshak. Yulian's henchwoman digs up classified information on Hutch, uncovering his past as a feared killer. Realizing the danger, she quits, leaving Yulian to face Hutch on his own. Yulian orders his men to capture Hutch alive. As the Mansells sit down for dinner, Hutch notices 3 cars parked suspiciously across the street. Sensing the impending threat, he has Becca and the kids hide in a panic room. When the gunmen storm the house, Hutch unleashes his lethal skills, taking out most of them before being tased and thrown into a trunk. But Hutch is far from defeated. He awakens, fights his way out of the car, and returns home, warning his father to be on guard. After sending his family to safety, Hutch prepares for a final showdown. In the climax, Hutch rigs his workplace with deadly traps and destroys the Obshak, incinerating Julian's fortune. Julian's men attempt to assassinate David at the retirement home, only to meet their demise at the hands of the old man. Hutch then confronts Julian at his nightclub, revealing that he's destroyed everything Julian holds dear. A high-speed chase ensues, culminating in a bloody battle at the warehouse, where Hutch is joined by Harry and David. Together, they dispatch Julian's men in a series of explosive and inventive kills. The final confrontation ends with Hutch sacrificing himself to kill Julian with a claymore mine. Back in the interrogation room, Hutch remains tight-lipped, still insisting that he's just nobody. The detectives, receiving mysterious phone calls, are forced to let him go. Three months later, as Hutch and Becca tour a new house, the phone rings. Hutch answers, knowing trouble is never far behind. The couple exchanges a knowing look and asks the real estate agent a final question. Does the house have a basement? Nobody is an adrenaline-fueled thrill ride that will leave you on the edge of your seat, craving more with every twist and turn. For those who love mind-blowing storylines and intense action, this is a must-watch. We highly recommend it. Thank you for tuning in to Best of Movie Recaps. Stay tuned for more exciting content, and don't forget to like and subscribe for your next dose of cinematic excitement.